Keep Jesus on the front. Pray before you go. Now, stock out of the box without messing with it. Your 0 to 60 is just under 2.5 seconds. Kawasaki ZX-14R. When you absolutely have to be there the day before you left. It's my 25th motorcycle. My second ZX-14. It's a 2025. No, I'm not sorry. The air intake, I believe they borrowed from the F-22 Raptor. I have named this bike Deadpool for obvious reasons. Look into my eyes. Gene Roddenberry would have hated this bike. It defies the space-time continuum without warp nacelles. Nice big seat. Very plush. The distance between your knee and the foot pegs, very generous. So I'm not all scrunched up like it was on the H2. They come with the Bridgestone Battle Axe S20s, and I think that's a great tire. It's a decent tire for the track, and it's a good, decent, everyday, all-around tire. Comes with it stock. I like the just over 58-inch wheelbase, and that gives it great straight-line stability. I love the twin pipes. I love the fact that it's got a big fat 190 on the back. I love the dual twin piston Brembos. The stopping power is awesome. The acceleration is amazing. It is probably the greatest bike, in my opinion, ever made because it gives you all of that and reasonable comfort too. Yes, it's a windy day and I'm about to get on the highway. It's 35-mile-an-hour gusts, steady at 20. I loved my R1200 BMW in the rain. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is better. I'm ready for the blowback on that. I've ridden both of them in the rain. Wind too. This is better. It's just more stable. It holds its track. The wind does not affect this like it did my R1200. The wind knocked my R1200 around. The big fairings were super wide. This thing's designed in a wind tunnel. And I know you're going to want to gun it. You're going to want to just hammer it. So leave the traction control on at least one. It does help keep the nose down quite a bit. So keep that in mind. Now, if you turn the K-Track system off, all bets are off. Oh, aren't you? Oh, it's a biter. All right, so 2025 ZX-14R. Cornering beast. Wheelbase is just over 58 inches. I'm having a short shift and keep the RPMs low. I'm still breaking in this bike. At 600 miles, you can go over 6,000 RPMs. I'm at 432 miles. I just got the bike about a week ago. Why would you buy one of these? Well, 0 to 60, just under 2.5 seconds. Just south of 210 horsepower with the ram air. And stock right out of the box, it does a 9.77 second quarter mile. Well, there's a couple good reasons right there. But what if I told you could have all that torque, all that power, and something that conducts itself on a windy highway? By the way, it conducts itself so beautifully in those situations, and yet when you corner, it hunkers down so beautifully, you will just absolutely fall in love with it. It gives you pretty good comfort and exceptional speed. Now, I had a Gixxer, and my Gixxer, I enjoyed it. My Gixxer was fast. But it was very light in the front, and it was a very lightweight bike. I don't like lightweight bikes because I get stuck in the rain a lot. And when you're stuck in the rain, you want something that's got a little weight to it, especially when it's windy and raining. This is 600 pounds wet. My Gixxer felt to me a little bit like someone put a turbo on a mosquito. So light in the front. This feels to me like it's planted. You know, I'm about to go on Highway 370. The winds are gusting at 35 miles an hour. They're sustained at 20. They were hitting me harder than that on that road back there. I can honestly tell you this thing is an excellent sport tourer. It is my 25th motorcycle. It is my second ZX-14. I've had two. My first one was an 07. Didn't have any ABS, no traction control, no anything. This one, traction control, ABS, slipper clutch, does not have a quick shifter like the Hayabusa. It does not have cruise control like the Hayabusa, but it has a 5.8 gallon tank and a faster 0 to 60, more horsepower, and it's basically the Busa killer. It's got enough tech to make me happy without being over the top. The Hayabusa has 10 traction controls, this has 3. Now, what I like about the K-Track, the Kawasaki traction control system, figures your angle and camber on your rear tire as well. It doesn't just assume you're slipping on a flat surface. That's pretty cool. This also has 2 power modes, full and low. Low power mode gives you 80% of the power of the bike. Full power mode gives you the whole kit and caboodle. And when you've got the 3 traction controls managed with the power modes, you can figure out what you got to do there. You can change your power modes and you can change your traction control on the fly, as long as you put the clutch in and put the throttle forward. And then when you declutch and throttle back, again after you've made your setting, it'll kick in. So you can change it on the fly if it starts to rain, and it's not hard to do. Everything's operated with a simple switch right here. It says select on it, up, down, and select what you want to do. I was stuck in the rain 2 nights ago coming home with it, and I put it in low power mode, traction control 3, and it was dumping, and I was on the highway doing about just under 65, and it was handling itself amazingly. The bike was stalwart, stable as the day is long, so I was very, very pleased with it. I wanted it stock. I'm not going to change out the pipes or do anything to this. It's got enough horsepower to where I don't need to do that. You know, I don't need to do that. My 0 to 60 is under 2.5 seconds. Stock. Now, if you like loud pipes save lives and all that, that's okay. I just don't need that kind of, because then you got to have it retuned and all that. I don't want to mess with it. I want this to last. I want to keep it stock so it lasts. This is going to be my daily grinder for a long time. All right, we're about to get on the highway, and I'm going to take it up to 70. I'll tell you how loud it is, the RPMs and all that. This bike is so fast though. Like, I left for work the other morning and I actually arrived a day early. It was weird. This was the fastest thing you could buy a few years ago. Let's see what we got going on here. The fact that it gives you such a generous gear overlap, you know, it makes it kind of easier to ride. Now, I keep it on full power mode, traction control 2, in case I hit some leaves or whatnot, you know, wet patches and all that. If it was raining, I'd put it on 3. But I had it on 3 the other night when it was raining, and it was excellent. I had really no issues. Now, I don't encourage people to ride in the rain unless they're comfortable with it, but if you're a fan of my channel, you know I ride no matter what, so it doesn't matter. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, 70 miles an hour, 4,000 RPMs. Of course the motor's quiet, so yeah, 70 miles an hour, windy highway, gusting at 35 miles an hour, and no issues there. Engine braking. Engine braking is amazing. Does have a slipper clutch, but this is a very comfortable sport tourer. The shocks are very soft. The bumps are very soft. This isn't hurting my back at all. But when you corner, it kind of gets into the corner nice and tight, holds itself so beautifully. It's 58-inch plus wheelbase. You got that's a great hybrid between your straight line stability and still being able to corner really well. And people are saying this bike's heavy. My daily grinder is well over 900 pounds with the fairing and the bags and everything I got on it. So to me, this little 600 pounder is not heavy at all. To me, this is light as a feather. You know, this feels very flickable to me. Now, the front end does feel heavier than my Gixxer. It feels more planted than my Gixxer. We're going to take some twisties up here and tell you what I think about it in the corners. The way it dives into a corner, the way it's a nice hydraulic light clutch, it's a nice light clutch pull. Everything about this bike is just so easy to deal with. It's really wonderful. Oh, I don't want to get crushed by Hertz Penske over here. Now, yeah, the Hayabusa is about the same price, brand new, pretty close. And it does have some more options. The Hayabusa has 10 traction controls, this has 3. But in terms of the riding position, in terms of the way I think this feels, the rigidity, you know, in corners, the way I like it, but the way it sort of glides over bumps in the straights, I love this thing. This, with all the tech on it, and it's not a ton of tech compared to the way a lot of bikes are now. It's not. It does not have an IMU, you know, the inertial measuring unit. It doesn't have things like that to where it helps you control any of those things, but it does have just enough tech to keep you safe and to keep the genie in the bottle when you need to keep it in the bottle. But it's still raw enough and angry enough that when you want to let that genie out, it's just raw. It's just absolutely raw. They just don't seem to mind the wet or the cold. it's, to me, I can't honestly not say that about every bike I've ever owned. I've had some real questionable creatures. I have. I've had some real questionable bikes where I rode them and they weren't quite right after that, in the rain. Yamaha Striker, took it in the rain, it got weird after that. It did. It got really weird after that. My Gixxer 1000, rode it in the rain, and it got weird after that. It got really weird after that. Matter of fact, I took it to a guy who looked at it and said, has this bike been underwater? And it was dumping, but I wonder if it just breathed in so much water it trashed the motor. My Gixxer in the wet was a mess. These don't seem to mind the water, which make them really good sport tours. I think Kawasaki did a great job thinking out the electrics. It's sort of a sport tour that can really do ridiculous amounts of speed. Now I am getting blasted from my left, and it's a hard wind. It feels like it's 40 miles an hour. It feels like it's a steady 30 blasting me with 40 now and again on the cusps. Yeah, right there. But you know what? It's a great bike. It's really not moving that much. I sat on the H2. I was eating my knees. My hips started screaming at me. My back started screaming at me. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't do this. I can't. Because I ride, you don't understand. I ride, like, this is what I do. That's all I do. You know, I just ride all the time. And I'm hours and hours and hours, you know, all the time on bikes. Like, pretty much every day. Even on days I work, you know, I leave early just to ride in the morning, and then I ride around at night before I go home. It's sort of my addiction. So for me, the bike has to be right, and if it's not quite right, I need to be able to at least modify it to make it right. So with the ZX14, to make this good for me, I have 1-inch risers. So that's the standard. That's the standard one. And that's the one on the riser. See the difference? Double gel wrapped the grips, took a lot of the weight and the pressure off my wrists, and it made it much easier for me to ride. And then this was a huge help too. Okay, here's the stock windscreen on the ZX14. And then here's the zero gravity. I'll line them up here. And that's the difference there. You can see how much taller it is, and you can see the more severe angle on the wind deflection. So yeah, that's gonna be huge. I added this windscreen to my last ZX14, and it made a huge difference for winter riding. On the highway in the wind, that's a huge help. It kind of breaks it up and sends it over your head, so the cold air is not just blasting you in the chest. This is my favorite bike in the world. I feel like the Lord led me to this one. I feel like Jesus was like, all right, this is you. And I'm gonna not lie to you. I'm not gonna lie and say that this will be the last bike I ever buy, but I will tell you I will not get rid of this one. This one stays with me forever, until it blows up. But it's got really good wind refinement. You know, I'm getting blasted with wind right now, and I'm holding my line really well. It's got great wind refinement, it's got great suspension, it's got fantastic horsepower. But if you want to ride it like, you know, if you want to ride it gently, you can do that too. So it gives you a lot of choices. You just twist this, and then all of a sudden it's magic. Once you twist this, they get really small in that. Like really small, really fast. Or use the torque, especially when you're using it to merge onto a highway or to pass. Bear in mind it is a twitchy bike, and if you disrespect it even for a minute, I don't care what kind of traction control it has or ABS it has, you disrespect it and you'll pay. So you gotta be careful with this. This is a different kind of creature. Don't kid yourself. Oh, well, I'm gonna put it in low power mode, traction control 3 when I go to work, and I'm gonna get that really good gas mileage. Yeah, you'll do that for about 5 seconds until you see an open stretch, and then you're gonna hunker down and see ya. And it is faster than 99.9% of all motorcycles ever made, probably. But that doesn't mean you want to use it all the time. What's great is you can also just sit back and enjoy it, and you can feel the dogs pulling at the chain. You can You can feel them. Those horses want to pull this carriage so stupidly fast down this road right now. You feel it. Know that you can, but choose when to. So if you're going to get one of these, just understand what you're in for. You're going to be in for persistent temptation. So you're going to always want to first of all, you're not going to want to be off of it. If you can afford one, get one. The insurance might set you back a little bit. And that's my review of the 2025 Kawasaki ZX-14R, my baby. Keep Jesus on the front. Pray before you go. TG MotoRider, signing off.